Please help support the channel by visiting our Amazon store for such products like the Zoom H1 Portable Digital Recorder. Affiliate link below. Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is the Monday Matt channel, and a story like this would probably be better served over on 3 Buck Theater, my movie news channel, but since this has to do more with social justice activism and diversity quotas than it does with actual movie news, I wanted to talk about it over here. So according to this article, and many articles today that are very much going off on this one, the next James Bond probably won't be a straight white male. Now, to many people out there, especially the Tumblr audience, they're going to look at this as a huge step forward for inclusion and diversity. Whereas those of us who like it when you stick to the source material and get a little bit ticked off when you don't stick to the source material, you kind of want it to be someone that's iconic and going to fit the part. That's not to say that I'm not against other people having action franchises, but Bond is Bond. And we've learned from, let's say, Ghostbusters, that when you try to switch it up like that and that becomes your primary marketing tool and your primary defense, it can have very horrible results. So let's see what this is going on here. All right, Daniel Craig is portraying 007 James Bond 25 one last time after swearing he'd never return to the role, even going as far as to say that he'd rather slit his wrists than play the character again. Now, granted, that comment was more tongue-in-cheek. Speculation about who the next James Bond would be swirled for years until it was finally confirmed that Craig would be stepping into the role one last time. In an interview, though, producer Barbara Broccoli revealed that the next person in line to play James Bond could end up being a woman or even a person of another ethnicity. For now, we have Daniel Craig, but who could be next in line to play the iconic character up on the big screen? I have a feeling Barbara Broccoli is making those comments now, but she won't ever actually hold true to them. I do. I really do. It's one of those things where, oh, we totally want to hire a black person to play the part. Totally. I mean, we're not going to, but we totally want to. It feels like it's more of a game, just trying to stay out of the limelight in terms of controversy. But the comments themselves kind of invite another kind of controversy. So you're kind of screwed either way. Your best bet in that regard would just literally to say, we're not too sure who we're going to cast at the time. And then keep it at that. But when you start throwing out comments like, a woman or person of color, which again, I have nothing against. The XXX franchise is fun. I loved Ice Cube in XXX 2. Idris Elba, who is mentioned in this article, is badass, deserves his own freaking action franchise. I know they tried doing that with The Dark Tower. That failed because of just reasons. Even though I liked the movie, you can see why it failed. And Idris Elba deserves better. But even I wouldn't want him to play Bond. Give him a character that's a suave, debonair spy, gentleman spy, and I'm on board with that, but not Bond. Give him like 006 or 008 or 0069. Anyway, while speaking with the Daily Mail, Barbara Broccoli revealed that the James Bond franchise tries to stay with the times and push the envelope while creating something new. And now it seems that the future is uncertain when Daniel Craig retires from the role with the upcoming untitled James Bond 25. When asked about any potential actors to take over, Broccoli replied that she's extremely happy with Daniel Craig, but admitted that anything is possible for the next person in line. This is what she says. These films tend to reflect the time, so we're always trying to push the envelope a little bit. Anything is possible. Right now it's Daniel Craig, and I'm very happy with Craig, but who knows what the future will bring. Now, it's true. The future could bring many different things, and people might be looking at it from like a cultural perspective, but let's also look at it from a financial one. Skyfall, which did win Best Picture of the Year out of the BAFTAs in 2012, and it was a great movie, was followed up by Spectre. Spectre was almost an unmitigated mess. While I enjoyed the movie immensely, there were lots of problems with it, just from a story structure to a narrative structure to the fact they tried to keep hiding Christoph Waltz's Blofeld the entire time, and then the story they used for Blofeld felt kind of weird, as well as just the fact that the way they ended the movie felt like it ended the franchise. It ended Daniel Craig as James Bond. It was a good send-off in that regard, but the budget was also somewhere reportedly over $300 million, and it just failed to gross it back. And so MGM, I think Sony no longer has the rights to it. They're no longer distributing it. So they're not going to be putting up a lot of funds. I don't know where it's going to go next or who's going to do it, but we're looking at a situation here where James Bond might have to, cut its budget a lot and go back to a more simpler construct of a film. And who are they going to cast in that one? Now, if they go to a lower budget and they bring in a woman or a person of color actor, that would be interesting. It would have disastrous results, but it would be interesting. And it wouldn't matter how good the person is playing the role of Bond. People out there who are diehard fans, who have been for over 50 years of the film series, are not going to want it. They're just not going to want it. And that's just the truth of it. That's the sad truth of it. Now, it says here that Sir Roger Moore, who died in May at the age of 89, said, "I've heard people talk about how there should be a lady Bond or a gay Bond. However, Moore didn't agree with the character straying from the white male persona that is synonymous with the iconic character created by author Ian Fleming. Moore contended that he was not trying to offend and instead maintained that he was just thinking about staying true to what Fleming had written. Saying here, but they wouldn't be Bond for the simple reason that wasn't what Ian Fleming wrote. It is not about being homophobic or, for that matter, racist. It is simply about being true to the character." And that's very true. It is about being true to the character. And that is where we find ourselves at odds with this current society, where the characters that are from old that have been reborn, sometimes go through the changes. Look at the BBC recently. They're telling the story of, I believe, Troy, and they have Achilles. And Achilles is being played by a black actor. And that has a lot of people like kind of scratching their heads going, I'm sorry, what? And they go, well, their response back to that is, well, we don't know Achilles' true history. We don't know his true origin. Pretty sure Achilles was Greek. Pretty positive that he was Greek. And as a result, but then this is coming from, Homer's Iliad, right? I believe. I could be wrong on some of that information, but that's been a big thing. People are like, why, you're just kind of changing things in order to suit your narrative, even though whatever historical representation we have has always been set like this. We know how the Greeks look. They're not going to be, they're going to be olive skinned. They're not going to be like super dark skinned, right? So there's that. And so these things kind of come up. Whereas I said the same thing. I will say the same thing I said as a regard to the female Thor and the way that Marvel's been handling a lot of the gender bending stuff is, well, for one, stop it. It's not selling and you guys know it. Two, there's nothing wrong with creating a new character. If you wanted to move away from 007 and focus on another member of Her Majesty's Secret Service, like I said, 006, 008, 0069, baby, 001, the origin of it, create a Bond cinematic universe, which, let's be fair, would be interesting. You could do so in a way that would then allow you to put out the diversity that you want, print out those characters, but still reserve that number, 007, as being a straight white man. That's perfectly fine. That's not going to change the narrative at all. You can make new heroes out of who's there. You can do it. The character of Bond is an iconic character, very huge in pop culture. It'd be like all of a sudden if Episode 9 comes out and they have like a gay Hispanic trans man portraying Luke Skywalker, and like, well, it just anyone can play Luke. I look at these stories and I think to myself, the comments that I'm reading here from Barbara Broccoli, I feel are more trying to not get in trouble, but at the same time, it's going to piss off a whole other crowd of people. And to be fair, to be absolutely abundantly clear and fair here, the people that she would piss off with this are the people who would go see the movie. That's the truth. The people who would buy the DVD or buy the Blu-ray or buy the box set, buy the books, buy the merchandising. Those are who would ultimately be impacted negatively by this decision. So if you want to take that gamble, Barbara Crowley, you can. You can take that gamble and you can hope that you come out on top. But I'm telling you right now, not as good as you want. Not as good as you want. Bond stays the same. Everyone else they've changed. Moneypenny, Naomi Campbell. I don't know her actual ethnicity. Judi Dench, right? I mean, Felix Leiter was Jeffrey Wright, who's black. You know, they've brought in these other characters that are not the traditional molds of what we grew up with, and that's fine. Side characters can alter, can change, and that's okay. Main character, that should stay the same. And that's where I will fully admit I'm a bit of a purist. So there's that. Curious to know your guys' thoughts on this one. Do you think that they will actually cast a woman or a person of color in the role of James Bond? Do you think it would spell a doom and mayhem for the franchise? Or has Bond gone on long enough and it's time for something new, something to reinvigorate the masses to go back and see what happens with Agent 007? These are things I'm curious to know. Go ahead and let me know in the comments. My name is, of course, Matt Jarbo. This is the Mundane Matt channel. If you haven't already, thumbs up the video, subscribe to the channel, check back often for more content from me. In fact, if you want to see more content from me, you can do so right now.